Hello, Tarmac Works fans. Does such a thing exist? I'm not sure. I'm kind of 50-50 on this brand. I love a lot of their models that they've made, but at the same time, I've also had a lot of QC problems. So this is the Tarmac Owners Club from last year. And if you watch the review of this, the base had a giant scratch in there. Now, what I will say about Tarmac is I've always written them emails, and they send me replacements. They sent me a replacement base. On a different model, they sent me the vent that was missing from my Pagani. So they have good customer service. Unfortunately, that doesn't go well for business. If you have to always, mail out extra pieces because your QC's a problem, you're going to go out of business. So, anyways, also the use of decals. I'm not a big fan of that. It's not a problem just with Tarmac Works. NO64 does it as well. But all these decals are not going to look so nice probably in a decade. They might crack off or peel off or whatever if the glue goes bad. So it's a little bit concerning if you're planning to be a long-term collector of these things. If you just buy it, you like it, and you just expect it to turn into garbage, then you don't have a problem at all. All right. So a year has passed, and I went to the Tarmac Works website, and even though I have this casting by another brand, that's what the thing is in this box. So I didn't know what this box was. But I ordered a couple other models in here as well, which will be reviewed later. I'm just showing you how it came packaged. I will say the box took some damage in shipping, right? So let's hope that this thing turned out well. Just to give you a preview, I guess, of these other two cars. So we got the 510 wagon with the service livery, and then a Defender 90. With Wilkes Brothers, whatever that is. I'll have to figure that out later. But today we're looking at this one. And I apologize, my cat is sleeping behind this monitor, and that's where the microphone is located. So you're going to hear a lot of cat noises. It might be grooming itself, or you heard that bell ringing. Alright, so here we go. This is the Trans Am Champion for the 2.5 class in 1972, and Speed Hunter's article is telling me it also won in 1971. John Morton was the driver of these 2 years where they won the championship for the SCCA. Okay, and then it's licensed by BRE, that's Brock Racing, Peter Brock, and Nissan itself. So if you're actually into collecting legal representations of things, this is it. And that's why Tarmac Works is still in business. They do it by the book. I actually saw this car in person in the early 2000s in Long Beach. There was like a Japanese import auto show, and I knew about the car then. I didn't know of its history. I just thought it was a cool looking car. Okay, so we got this big box. And then we got this, California license plate. It's actually silverized, so like it might actually be reflective, like a real license plate. The numbers aren't raised, but the border is like a real license plate. And it's cool that it has the registration tag of 22 in December. So that's kind of neat, I guess. I'm trying to think what scale this would be. It's much bigger than 6 scale, maybe 10s. No, 5th quarter scale, maybe it's I don't know, sorry, but it's cool looking. I guess I will keep this packaging because I can keep that there. Oh boy, but this does bring up the point. This does seem wasteful to me, like, because it already is in a really hard, rigid case, right? I almost feel like it would be better if they just made it cheaper and put that metal plate in the bottom of this box, like a decal would be in there, because it's already protected pretty well by this. So it's just more packaging that's being wasted, but I guess if you never throw it out, maybe it's not wasted. So we got your typical wrapping here, and then all that same legalese there. Alright. So this thing was powered by a 2-liter inline 4, making around 190 horsepower. It would be rear-wheel drive. I guess that's all you need to know. It's a 2-door. Yeah, I feel like that license plate. Hold on, I'm gonna get that license plate back and see, would it fit in there? Yeah, they could have just snuck it in here. It would have been fine. Because no, who's gonna display their model inside of this box, right? You're gonna display it like that. All right. Anyways, so no tape here. It's actually a pretty tight cover. QC inspector number 4. Let's see if they do a good job. And actually, before I forget, I stack up my boxes. These screws will scratch the top of another box, so I always tape them off so they don't scratch the thing below it. Okay, so the base here does say all the information you want to see, and I guess this thing is limited to around 2,000 pieces. It's got the BRE, all that stuff all over. It is mounted a little crooked. It's not quite in line, but maybe that's fixable. You know what? Let me loosen it a little bit. If it's too tight, you know, the tires are going to have really bad flat spots. So, still tight enough it's not going to fall off. And I just aligned it a little bit better. How anal retentive is that? Okay, look at these photos. This photo is from Speed Hunters, so the sponsorship has changed. This article was from 2016, and I think it does look different from the image from the car I saw in the earlier 2000s. This looks like it actually might be racing. I think you can actually see the Simon Eyes sponsorship there. And then again, back to a Speed Hunters photo from the same article. Hold on, let me focus in between the two. Okay, well, you pause the video, you can decide for yourself if you think it looks realistic. Let's go over these details here, the good old pick, and I'll start with the front wheel here. Alright, so the tire has Goodyear printing and it looks pretty good. The tire itself is not slab-sided, it's not like flat, it's actually curved like an old tire would be ballooning out air. And then the rim of the wheel is chromed plastic, and then the middle they painted it like a gunmetal, so that looks pretty accurate. I think these are called Libre wheels. Alright, 4 lug nuts. Let me get the flashlight. I don't know if I see any brakes. A car this old probably just have drum rears, maybe discs in the front, but it looks like there actually is. Well, no, I don't know if that's a blanked off thing. I hit the focus button, not the button, focus screen. Is that cross drilling of a brake rotor? I see all these dimples back there. So I think maybe that is a brake. It's clearly got a texture on it. Same at the back. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe they do have this, maybe this did have disc brakes. You know, being a race car, they probably would have upgraded the brakes. But leave a comment if you know. I do not. So, back to the tires and wheels, I think they look fantastic. And then, looking at the side here, I can tell that this bumper is a separate plastic piece. And then the panel gaps, well, they're filled in a lot with this white paint, but that's a problem with every brand. White itself just doesn't want to cover up things very well, so you have to lay it on pretty thick. The striping looks really good. It is a decal, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure if it is. This 46 is clearly a decal because you can see the raised edge around the numbers. I'll have to see at a different angle if it's on top of the clear coat or under it. This bump is painted silver for the lock. There's a little recess for your fingers here, and then that handle is painted silver. Rear bumper's a separate piece as well. There's a little silver and black here for whatever this vent area is. And then the window has a chrome treatment going around. That's on the casting itself, this silver paint. The plastic window has black for the rubber molding. And then it's nice that this is totally open, because then we'll be able to see the interior better. Now the roll cage is gonna look a little low. It looks very low actually. This thing should be way up there. The issue is this piece of plastic is probably joined to the other side, so all this up here I'm touching is probably plastic of this window. But as to why they chose to not raise this even higher is a little bit of a mystery. They have a cross brace, but why is that cross brace raised above this piece I'm touching right now? Why isn't it like right here going to the other side? So it's a strange design choice that whoever modeled this thing. It just doesn't make sense at all to me. Why would that cross brace be so low? They could have raised this bar up. It just looks weird. It looks very strange. Okay, the race car driver's name is there, and some sponsorship. Union 76 oil. All right. Or 76 gas. Alright, other stuff there. Let's go around to the front. This chin spoiler here is a separate piece. You can see the brake simonized as a decal. I feel like the printing of that decal wasn't so good there. And then there's some vents here, but no additional paint. No black there. And this thing is recessed as well. That should be air as well. So I feel like they skipped out paint there. The bumper, I think, does it have bumps? Yeah, it looks like 1, 2, 3 like indents. I guess that's trying to mimic like the rivets that hold that bumper on the real car. Then the headlight covers there. Unfortunately, the decals over here are not good. I mean, that thing is way off there, right? This side isn't so good either, like it's too low, like the white is covering this ring here. So, yeah, the problem with decals is they're put on with water and they slide around until you dry off all the liquid. So it's just not a good application of decals. Alright, the grill has the silver, but inside is this recess, you know, it's painted black of course. Yeah, it's pretty well recessed. And the grill surround, it's alright I guess, you know, the silver looks good. On the hood we have some glued on really shiny hood latches, decals or something. Now this is nice. This 46 and this Datsun are tampo printed. There's none of that clearness going around the numbers. So that's really good. The wiper blades are separate pieces and they look pretty good. They're molded, I think. They're far more detailed than any photo etched metal, or they are bent photo etched metal. It's just that the blades themselves are perpendicular to the screen, so that's realistic. And then the windshield has these raised clamps holding the plexiglass windscreen on, and that is on the real photographs. So that's really nice. I don't know if this is like part of this clear and painted black, or if it's actually a separate piece on top of that clear piece of plastic. I don't know. This is raised as well, but no black. So I feel like they kind of skipped the black paint there, which makes me also think maybe this is part of the same casting. So not perfect, but this is definitely nice. That's just a lost opportunity to make it look nicer. The roof. Now this is printed with paint, tampo printed, looks good. That part. Unfortunately, the actual red paint below it doesn't look good. Look at this. This looks like a Hot Wheels. Yeah, you know how they have such bad castings because they mold so many of them. They get thrown around in bins. So that's what happened on this one. It's just, gee, you'd think they would pick the nicer castings for the annual special model. And then the 46 is a decal. You can see the wrinkliness of it in that clear border around the numbers. So I'm going to assume they're going to come up with other numbered vehicles. Okay. Yeah, those hood latches, again, Separate pieces looking nice. But again, the casting itself, it's just not, it's a Hot Wheels casting as far as the quality goes. This tail lamp is crooked, so that's too bad. BRE is nice to see in the license plate area. There's a little dimple sticking up for the lock here. That should be painted black. Let's see, there's supposed to be a fuel filler right here, and that's obviously missing. It would have been nice if they maybe made a plastic mold of it and just glued it on, but I guess that would require a lot of money. Separate bumper again, and then this exhaust pipe is yellow, so I'm not sure if that's accurate. I don't see it on the actual photo, but maybe back in the early 1970s, maybe it did race with a yellow pipe, because I don't see a reason why they would go through the effort of adding that paint if it wasn't for accuracy. Alright, this side of the vehicle. Alright, I'm just looking. So it does seem like this white part of the body is paint. It's not a decal. I don't see the clearness there. So that's nice. So let me zoom in on this stripe here. I don't see the wrinkliness. So you can clearly see it on the 46, but here it's just paint, and this is paint, and that blue is paint. This is all paint. That looks like paint. So it's just a number 46, I think. But I think all this other stuff is tampo printed. Tampo. I think even on the window this is a tampo print. So it's just the number itself, I think, so far that's a decal. So that's good. It's good for longevity. Alright, black interior is accurate, being a race car, and looking at those photographs. Oh, there's a lot of gauges. Hold on, let me get this up to 15 lumens. Yeah, a lot of nice molded in gauges, and that's not I don't think that would be a standard instrument board on a Datsun 510. So they went through the trouble of making a racing interior for this mold. And that steering wheel, it looks like a racing steering wheel, although I don't know what an original one would look like. The seat, nice. We got some red harness detail. And I'm gonna assume that's a decal. I can't say for sure. On the other side, there is no seat, which makes sense, being a race car. Let's see the shifter. Yeah, the shifter looks good. It's on a stock. There's a ball on top of it. I'd be really amazed if there's gas pedals in this thing. Let me get the light through the back windscreen. I think there are. They're molded in. It looks like there's a footrest there on the left side. It's hard to say, but I think that's a gas brake and clutch pedal there. Yeah, it's just all black, so it's hard to tell. And I am looking through a mobile phone screen, so you guys can see a lot more detail than I can. Yeah, even the back panel there on this door, well, it's not the door, just the back interior is there. But the back sill, all these decals are getting in the way. I can't tell. I don't even know if there's a rear view mirror. Oh, there is. Yeah, there's a rear view mirror. Okay, it's just really a shame they would design the roll cage like that. Why would they arc the cross beams? The beams going side to side. It's just, there was no reason to do that. Odd. Alright, it's running racing slicks, no treads, so that makes sense to me. I'm sure there's some minor details on the bottom, but I'm not taking this off the stand. So really on the outside, the only really major detracting thing I see is the crookedness of this taillight. If it really bothered you, you take it out the stand, take it apart, and probably refit that. But I'm going to see if I can just twist down the peg. No, I'm going to just live with it, I think, or I'll mess around with it later. Let's look at a few other castings now. I can't leave well enough alone, so I am going to take it off the stand. Alright, tells you what scale, what the car is, and who made it. It just doesn't tell the copyright. And then there's 2 screws holding this thing together. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so if these bars here were just straight, horizontal, they could have easily raised these sides and it wouldn't look so weird through the side window. Melt marks there. Whoa, that's a lot of press fitting for the windows. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. Is it 8, right? 6 up top, 2 in the back, but not in the front. So that's interesting. So that rear lamp, yeah, it's just a melted plastic there. So I should be able to just rotate it. Yeah, there you go. Right? So that's the beauty of a screwed together base. It's a darn shame that other expensive brands like TLV doesn't do that. Granted, they don't really have QC problems compared to other brands. Even though I like to rag on that brand, QC wise, they're generally pretty good. It's just that design wise, they choose to skip a lot of details. So I would recommend that you always use a hand screwdriver when you're putting these things back together, because an electric driver I think would strip out the hole. And also you should probably find the thread before you start screwing it in. And in order to do that, you want to just go counterclockwise until you hear it or feel it pop into the thread. Okay. It is a plastic base. If that matters to you. I think it would be sacrilege to try to roll this around on a Hot Wheels track, though. Let me come back. Alright, so we're going to turn this into the Datsun 510 show in a second here, or Datsun's Bluebird show. I'm going to start off with this weird one, though. That's a Choro-Q, and I 3D printed my own Libre wheels for that one. Okay. And another crazy one is this one by Aoshima, the Grachan collection. So that's got a Liberty Walk body kit on it. And it's probably one of the most impractical looking vehicles I've seen, but it's awesome. It's just so crazy. And Aoshima is great because they screwed together bases, so I repainted the interior of that one. Added some license plates as well. Okay. Alright, boy, let's start with the more normal looking cars now. So here's a TLV, again, press fit base. This is the Bluebird 410, so the predecessor. Here's a Konami of a Bluebird SSS, but it is a 510. Here's the base, there you go. And the Konami has suspension if that kind of gimmick gets you. Alright, now this one is the one I was talking about at the start. I have a green light of this thing, and it's pretty good. I mean, they're trying to they did a decent job with the wheels. Obviously they're not as good, but it's a different price category. But what I like about the green light is there's no decals. You know, this number 46 will never fall off or crack in the future, but it is questionable on this Tarmac Works. And it's got clear tail lights, all of that. Oh, look at that one. Nope. And the headlights don't need to be clear, but this one also has bad headlight printing. Let's get those two close, since they are. The green light has an opening hood, but I don't really care about that stuff. Alright, I have a rally version of a 410. This one is by Tomica, TLV. Alright, I have a different brand rally vehicle. This is a Dido, of all things. Okay, so that's pretty good. I mean, Didos are really cheap models. It's got psychedelic headlights. I got two more. I'll just fit them in front and behind. This is a TLV of a wagon, a 510 wagon. And then the last TLV is a Datsun pickup. But I have a suspicion. Maybe it's related. So these license plates you may see are those photo etched metal license plates by Alexan Model. If you want to search AliExpress, that's where I got mine. I'm sure they're on eBay though. Alright, let's do a top view. Let's get these guys out of here. Just these two. So, Greenlight being so inexpensive, they have press fit bases. You know, a screw would be an extra cost. So it does have treaded tires, but if you look at the taillights, you know, the Tarmac is better. It has chrome printing on them, and well, naturally that one's just not fitting well. But to Greenlight's credit, I mean, they have separate bumpers, plastic bumpers. It's missing the hood pins. Again, the paint is, you know, I like the idea of tampo printing. And then both headlights are not very good. So this says is a 71. Maybe this is the 72 version because it has these horizontal strakes in the grill. This is an egg crate grill. This one has molded in metal wiper blades. And then, yeah, maybe you are curious what this looks like. Maybe it doesn't even open. No, it opens. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So for the cost of this, I think it's a great model for the cost. But clearly this is superior. And by the way, before someone asks, it doesn't roll at all. That's the price you pay for realism. Those disc brakes must be scraping, or maybe the tires are scraping something, but you're not going to roll that thing around. Alright, move this over here. Well, I'm much happier with this year's Owners Club model than the Hi-Ace van we looked at the beginning of this video. This one doesn't have any QC issues. I mean, as long as you're willing to take it apart and twist a taillight. It's just the application. Well, I guess you could consider the headlight decal application a QC problem. Because they're simply not centered properly. But for me, I think the biggest thing is that design problem of that roll cage on the inside. Just seeing that bar on the side window that low down, it just doesn't look anything like the photos or any roll cage in the real car. So other brands, they would just not even have the top of the roll cage, you know, because you really probably wouldn't see it anyways. They would just probably have the back part, the diagonals. Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys, and if you like the history of Nissan or Datsun in American racing, this is probably the most iconic vehicle. So you might want to pick this up because now there's only 1,998 left. Alright, see ya guys.